Did you know that nearly 80% of men in the US have suffered with symptoms of common mental health conditions such as anxiety, stress, or depression? Some struggles in men's lives hit very hard, and it's sad how they are mocked when they try to talk about it. Now, what if I told you that most of those problems come from just a small part of your life? Yes, and fixing them is actually easier than you think. So, you know what's going to help you? The 80/20. Now, stick with us to know how you can fight stress with the Pareto principle. It's not a hidden fact that men's mental health is a serious but often overlooked issue, even though its impact is massive for individuals, families, communities, and everyone. Studies have shown that men die by suicide at much higher rates than women. While men make up roughly 49% of the US population, they account for about 80% of suicides there. Depression and anxiety also affect men, but these conditions are frequently underdiagnosed because men are less likely to report symptoms in ways clinicians recognize. Stress, too, is widespread. In a survey by Priory Group, 77% of men said they had experienced symptoms of anxiety, stress, or depression. Financial pressure, work-related demands, and health concerns top the list as major contributors to these pressures. Anxiety and depressive disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability worldwide. When combined with substance misuse and lack of access to care, their effects on men's lives are especially severe. And yet, despite these high numbers, men are less likely than women to seek help for mental health issues. According to AAMC, only about 40% of men with a reported mental illness received care in the past year, compared with 52% of women. When men don't reach out, it's not because they don't want to feel better. It's because multiple barriers, like society, culture, emotions, get in the way. Now, one big reason for this stigma is that the messengers of our society, such as family, media, or even peers, often teach men that admitting to emotional struggles is weak. And when men do try to express pain or distress, sometimes their symptoms are misread or misdiagnosed because diagnostic tools don't always catch male typical ways of handling emotional pain. So yeah, when men are under stress, they often suffer in silence, and frequently, they don't get what they need. The scope is huge. But here's the flip side. What if most of their pain comes from just a few areas of life? Yes. What if your problems are actually fixable or at least improvable? This is where the 80/20 principle is going to help you. The Pareto principle says that often 80% of outcomes, like your stress or problems, result from about 20% of causes. Now, if that pattern holds in mental health, then you can eliminate a huge chunk of your mental burden just by addressing 20% of stressors in your life. So, this means that you don't have to fix everything at once. If you can just get a lot of improvement by focusing on a few things. Understanding the root of the problem is very important because, obviously, mental health is not just in your head. It is the messy remix of biology, society, lifestyle, relationships, and everything that crashes together. While on the biological side, things like genetics, brain chemistry, hormones, and chronic health issues can make men prone to stress, anxiety, or depression. Society doesn't hold back either. The society piles on the whole "be strong, don't cry, man up" script. Yes, that mess is exhausting and keeps men from talking about what's actually going on. And let's be honest, the same few stressors just keep showing up in most men's lives. Hustle culture is absolutely wild. Men feel like they have to be the breadwinner, crush the 9 to 5, and keep a career trajectory going. Adding job insecurity, toxic bosses, and crazy workloads to that and that's a pure recipe for burnout. Money drama on top of that just adds fuel. Debt, no savings, bills piling up. These are all just major triggers for anxiety. In relationships, they are just another stress zone. A messy breakup, family drama, or conflicts with friends can leave men feeling drained and alone. On top of that, a lot of men don't really have a close circle where they can be vulnerable. Research literally calls this emotional isolation, and it's one of the biggest challenges men can face today. And you cannot forget about the lifestyle. Running on 3 hours of sleep, living off energy drinks, skipping workouts, smoking, or drinking to cope, it all just adds up. These habits don't just wreck the body, they pull the mind down too. And when chronic health problems like pain or illnesses enter the picture, the stress just doubles. The man up trap has to be killed off because our culture is still pushing men to hide their emotions, to stay stoic, and to tough things out. That pressure leads to bottling up problems until they explode. To make it worse, depression in men often shows up in non-obvious ways, through anger, risky behavior, or substance use, which means that even professionals sometimes miss the signs. Now you may ask, if men are going through all of this, why don't they just seek help? Well, nobody wants to be labeled as weak, broken, or less of a man. Because that's what the stigma is in society, and that is why a lot of guys keep quiet. Another issue is emotional literacy. Many men are not raised to talk about feelings. So when they do try, they don't even know where to start. And also, sometimes the system itself also fails. Mental health services aren't always designed with men in mind, and therapists might not catch how men express distress, leaving them feeling misunderstood or unsupported. When stress like this builds up, it doesn't just stay in the mind. Chronic stress literally wears the body down, raising risks of heart diseases, messing with the immune system, and making mental health worse in a vicious cycle. Many men also cope by leaning into alcohol, drugs, or other risky behaviors, which might feel like relief in the moment, but always make things worse long term. And when problems stay bottled up for too long, men can hit crisis points. Sudden breakdowns, severe depression, suicidal thoughts, you name it. Alright, now in simple terms, the Pareto principle says that a few things cause most of the results. Like 20% of the input creates 80% of the outcomes. The idea came from Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist who noticed something wild. That back in the 1800s, about 80% of Italy's land was owned by only 20% of the population. He then looked around and realized it was not just an Italy thing. It showed up in other countries too. Basically, resources, wealth, and outcomes were never spread evenly. Fast forward, a guy named Joseph Juran took Pareto's idea and pushed it beyond economics. He said this works in business, quality control, and honestly everywhere. He called the key few problems the vital few and the rest the trivial many. Now, the 80-20 rule isn't stuck in a dusty economics book. People use it daily in productivity, time management, and even relationships. Just think about work, that only 20% of your tasks actually give you 80% of your results. The rest is just busy work. Same thing with your social life. A few friends probably give you most of your good vibes, while the rest don't add much. Now here's where it gets exciting for men's mental health. Stress doesn't come from everything equally. Most of the time, a small group of stressors are doing most of the damage. That's your 20%. Just picture this. At work, only a couple toxic meetings or a boss's email might be causing 80% of your burnout. So instead of trying to fix your whole life, you zoom in on the few things wrecking most of your peace and make that your leverage. But keep this in mind, the numbers aren't always exactly 80-20. Sometimes it's 70-30, and sometimes it's 90-10. The point is, it's not balanced. A small chunk creates a big impact. And also, just because something's not in your big 20% doesn't mean it's useless. Some small habits on minor stressors can grow into even bigger problems over time. And honestly, figuring out what's in your personal 20% stress zone isn't always obvious. Sometimes we think one thing is the issue, but it's actually something else behind the scenes. That's why self-reflection and tracking matter. Alright, now most of us guys stress over 1,000 things at once. But if you zoom out, you will realize that only a small chunk actually messes up our peace of mind. Now you only have to identify the main stressors and top triggers that drain you. That way your life can get lighter. Let's look at work and career stress. Work is not just about making money, it's also where most guys burn out. Long hours, toxic bosses, job insecurity, everything adds up to the mental chaos. So, instead of trying to fix everything at your job, focus on the smaller chunk of things that gives you the biggest headache. Maybe it's your boss constantly emailing after hours, or one project that eats up your entire week. If you deal with that, you will instantly feel the load lift. When it comes to financial pressure, maybe your anxiety usually comes from credit card debt. Maybe it's overspending on stuff you don't even need. So instead of stressing over your entire bank account, just target the main leak that's drowning you. Fixing that one leak can make your whole financial life feel more stable. Now, the main question is, how do you figure out your own stress? We have a little cheat code for you. You can start by journaling or just writing down what stresses you out every day. Once you start doing that, patterns will most probably show up. So think of them like the big bosses in a video game. Beat these and the smaller enemies won't even matter as much. Like, when it comes to work and career stress, you can work hard, but if your job is draining 80% of your mental energy, that's a red flag. When it comes to money pressure, debt, bills, or living paycheck to paycheck might be hard because finances are one of those things that keep guys up at night. When it comes to controlling toxic relationships, whether it's a controlling partner, fake friends, or people who constantly drag you down, they can be your 20% that drains most of your peace. So as a man, you can figure out your 20%. Now, we have already discussed how you can do that, and guess what we have learned? You don't need to solve all your problems to feel better. Yes, you just need to solve the one that hits hardest. Let 111 just can to lot of is your delegate lot 100 to 1 caring 8. When it comes to relationships, maybe you have that one toxic person who keeps pulling you down, so you can start with creating your distance from that person so that your mental health can skyrocket. So start treating the 80-20 rule like a cheat code, because instead of grinding through every single level, you can skip straight to the bosses that matter. Most men burn out trying to fight all their problems at once, but if you're smart enough, you can focus on the 20% that matters most. In this way, you can save time, energy, and honestly, your sanity even. Now that you have already chopped off the big stress monsters, you might wonder what's next. Well, this is where lifestyle and mindset shifts step in. These are not about flipping your life upside down. They are about small changes that hit hard, giving you way more peace of mind without draining your energy. Let's forget about the cringy grind set routines on TikTok first of all, because you don't need to wake up at dawn, drink celery juice, and write a 10-page journal to feel better. There are only 4 habits, the big 4, that carry most of the weight when it comes to mental clarity. So, exercise first I. Out is. That's good I. More I and first of need to your ism. The second is sleep discipline. Sleep is like premium brain fuel. Stop clowning around with 3 a.m. Netflix binges. Just lock in 7 to 8 hours. Trust me, you'll wake up feeling like a new character unlocked. You lot. Mindful wit sarcasm, mindful big as on. It's basically like clearing cache in your mind. And the last one is nutrition upgrades. Your brain is quite literally built from what you eat. You can't keep filling your body with energy drinks and chips expecting to feel calm. So start small, drink more water, eat some protein, maybe swap one junk meal for real food. Smoking, yeah, short dopamine hit, but it's like putting more anxiety fuel into your system. So instead, swap these out for real stress relievers. Go for a walk, hit the gym, or pick a hobby that makes you lose track of time. Did you know that hobbies can be secret therapy? Yes. Think about when you were a kid. You didn't draw or play video games because it was productive. You did it because it was fun. Somewhere along the way, adulthood made you drop hobbies in exchange for grinding and pills. But you cannot forget the truth that hobbies are therapy. So spend at least 1 or 2 hours a week doing something you genuinely love so that you can hit the upgrade button that your mental health needs. And don't expect some voodoo stuff, because here's something that most men don't realize. Stress never fully disappears. Life will keep throwing curveballs, but it's your mindset that will decide if those curveballs knock you out or just bounce off. So, start with gratitude literally every night. List 3 small things you're thankful for. It could be as simple as having a good coffee today, or seeing a hilarious meme. Because gratitude rewires your brain to notice the good stuff instead of just problems. Then there is mindfulness. So, whenever stress hits, just pause and check yourself. Ask, what are you actually feeling right now? Because just noticing makes the weight lighter. And here's a game changer. Just flip your perspective. So instead of asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Just switch it to, what can I learn from this? Suddenly, stress will not be the monster that it might seem. It can be a gym workout for your brain. The 80-20 rule sounds cool on paper, but I'm sure you're wondering how it actually plays out in real life. Did you know that some celebs we all know have made small fixes to clear up their big stress? Kevin Love, the NBA star, millions in the bank, championship ring. From the outside, he looked like he had it all, but behind the scenes, it was all about panic attacks, anxiety, and silence. He thought being a man meant bottling it all up. But the turning point was when he finally spoke up and got help, just by addressing one thing, the silence. And that's what freed him from most of the weight he was carrying. Now he's not just a player, he's a mental health advocate. Sometimes the biggest fix is just being real about what you're going through. Do you know Tom Ferriss? Before our work week guy? He used to grind like crazy, but when he broke it down, he realized that 80% of his problems came from 20% of his clients. The one who drained him, disrespected his time, and made him miserable. So, you know what he did? He dropped those clients just like that. Most of his stress disappeared, his business grew, and his life got way lighter. Men's mental health has been slept on for way too long. Society keeps throwing that men up, keep grinding nonsense, but that just leads to burnout, breakdowns, and worse. Now, we have already established the fact that most of your stress comes from a small handful of problems. So let's create a blueprint for you. Step 1. Start by tracking your stress for a week. So, jot down the top things that stress you out every day. It could be money, could be lack of sleep, could be toxic coworkers. Step 3. Fix your small stuff first. If it's money, cancel that one subscription you don't use. If it's work, stop checking emails after 8. If it's sleep, ditch the phone before bed. These little tweaks can stack up. Step 4. Don't go all in at once. Just think of gym vibes. You can add one habit, master it, and then move to the next. Add step 5 and checking weekly. Ask yourself what's working, what's not, and celebrate even the small wins. Because the point is, you don't need a full life overhaul or a 500-page self-help book. You just need to handle the 20% that's crushing you. Do that, and suddenly life will feel lighter, clearer, and way more livable. Are you ready to tackle your life in the Pareto way? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we have more such content coming your way. See you in the next video.